Hey there guys, what's up? It's me. I'm going to talk about Super Smash Bros. 4 for a bit in this video, because I am just so damn hyped for it, because they're releasing the trailer next Tuesday. So what you have here is the character roster of Brawl, with, I'm going to talk in a bit about every character's chances for returning. As you can see, most of them have a green circle on them, which means that I think they are going to be back for Smash Bros. 4. So yeah, Mario, Luigi, Peach, Bowser, Yoshi, Wario, Donkey Kong, Diddy Kong, Link, Zelda, Sheik, Ganondorf, Samus, Kirby, Meta Knight, King Dedede, Olimar, Fox, Falco, Captain Falcon, Pikachu, Pokemon Trainer, Ness, Marth, Pit, Ice Climbers, Rob, and Mr. Game & Watch. I think they will all be back for the sequel, because they are either just such iconic characters like Mario, Luigi, Bowser, Donkey Kong, Link, Samus, a whole bunch of others, and for some of the, say, less important ones like, say, Diddy Kong or Falco or Ness, I think they're just gonna stay in as well, because they are still pretty important characters in their franchises. Like Diddy Kong and Falco, they're pretty much the second most important guys. And, yeah, with guys like Ness and Marth, and I think they have just been in the series for so long that they can't really be cut anymore at this point. But there are still a couple characters that I'm not sure of whether they're going to return or not, which are the characters that have the red X on them. Namely, Toon Link. Why am I not sure he's going to return? Well, he is still just pretty much a Link clone, and he's really not the most worthy addition to the roster, I have to say. But, on the other hand, he does kind of represent the cel-shaded Zelda games, which usually play quite differently from the non-cel-shaded ones. So he could still be in if they just revamped his moveset to use more stuff from the Wind Waker and Phantom Hourglass and the one where he had a train. If they just do that instead of making him a carbon copy of regular Link, then I see no reason why he shouldn't be in Smash Bros. 4. Next character that I'm not sure about is Wolf, because I feel he was pretty much an out-of-the-blue addition for Brawl. I mean, no one really saw him coming, and I think he was one of the last characters to be added in development, because he's nowhere to be found in story mode, which I guess means that they added him well after they completed story mode. Even though I think Wolf could have fit in the plot pretty well. I mean, he's another villain. Could have worked with Wario and Bowser and King Dedede and whoever. But yeah, I don't really... It's good that the Star Fox series can get some villain representation, but again, he does kind of play similarly to Fox and Falco, and you kind of have to wonder, does Wolf deserve the spot more than, say, Crystal? Because I do believe that Crystal might be a more important Star Fox character than Wolf. Also, potential for a completely different moveset with the staff from Star Fox Adventures and everything. So yeah, Wolf I'm not 100% sure on. Jigglypuff. Jigglypuff has been in Smash Bros. Since the first one, but really the only reason she was added in the first one, I think, is because she was pretty popular in the anime at the time. And I'm pretty sure Jigglypuff hasn't been featured in the anime for nearly over a decade. So yeah, Jigglypuff is just not relevant anymore at all. I think she was pretty close to being cut in Brawl, because like Wolf and Toon Link, she is not in the story mode of Brawl at all, so she was probably a last minute addition. Or maybe they just completely forgot about her and someone came into Sakurai's office and said, "Hey Sakurai, we forgot about Jigglypuff. Oh crap, quickly put Jigglypuff in." Yeah. So Jigglypuff, I feel, is even less relevant now than when Brawl came out. So I'm not 100% sure whether Jigglypuff's going to be back or not. I mean, gameplay-wise, she's not really that great either. I mean, I always much preferred Kirby. I mean, in Smash Bros. 64, there was just kind of carbon copies of each other. And they did kind of differentiate that in Melee and Brawl, but still I don't think Jigglypuff really offers much unique stuff from a gameplay perspective. Now, why did I put an X under Charizard, Ivysaur, and Squirtle and not under the Pokemon Trainer? Well, I think the Pokemon Trainer might return, but I'm not sure if it's gonna be with Squirtle, Ivysaur, and Charizard. Maybe they'll make the Pokemon Trainer look like the guy from Pokemon X and Y and put in like the new starter Pokemon. I think that's a quite feasible option. So either that or they keep this Pokemon Trainer and maybe they'll like add a second one with a different set of starter Pokemon, probably the ones from X and Y. So yeah, Squirtle, Ivysaur, and Charizard, not 100% sure. Lucario, I think, is going to get the same treatment that Mewtwo did in the transition from Melee to Brawl. Lucario, I think, was only in Brawl because Diamond and Pearl were the latest games, and Lucario was starring in a movie at around that time. So they put him in over Mewtwo, because Mewtwo wasn't really that relevant anymore then. And just like Mewtwo then, Lucario is not at all relevant anymore these days. So he's probably going to get replaced by a new Pokemon character, a new Pokemon that is more relevant than Lucario. Lucas. Lucas does not yet have the iconic veteran status that Ness does. And they're actually bringing Earthbound over to the Wii U's Virtual Console, so people are gonna be able to get a lot more familiar with Ness. But they're not gonna be able to do the same thing with Lucas, because first of all, his game was never even localized in English. And I don't think they're gonna be re-releasing it on the Virtual Console anytime soon either. So I think while Ness's popularity is probably going to keep on growing, I don't see the same thing happening for Lucas. And he might get the axe. I mean, in Brawl he was like 90% the same as Ness anyway. So he's really not that big of a deal to the roster. Now, Ike. Ike might have the same thing happen to him as that happened to Roy. Roy was in Melee, got cut, replaced by Ike in Brawl. Roy was pretty much a Marth clone anyway, and Ike was pretty much, I think he was in the start of the most recent Fire Emblem game back then, so it makes sense to include him. So now maybe they'll replace him with the new, like, latest Fire Emblem protagonist, which I think is the guy from Fire Emblem Awakening on 3DS, which also has Marth being a pretty big deal in the storyline, so that further cements Marth's status as a playable character in Smash Bros. 4, I feel. And then there's Snake and Sonic, the third-party characters. Sonic is probably the more likely one of the two, because Sega's been all buddy-buddy with Nintendo these days. And Snake, well, Hideo Kojima did want him in Smash Bros., so maybe he'll allow Snake to be put in Smash Bros. 4, and I really wouldn't mind because Snake was my main character in Brawl. But yeah, because he's not a Nintendo character, I wouldn't say it's 100% certain, but Sonic is pretty likely, and Snake, I wouldn't completely rule it out just yet either. But these are not the only characters that have been in a Smash Bros. Game up until this point. There are also a couple others. Like Pichu, that dreadful Pikachu clone that was in Melee. To kind of advertise Gold and Silver because they were pretty new at that time. Yeah, I don't see Pichu returning at all. Maybe if they do what I want them to do in Smash Bros. 4, which is one of the things that they did right with PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, and they did not do a lot of things right with that game. But one of the things they did do right with that game is alternate costumes. Brawl had that, sorta, for Wario, and just Wario. So if every character gets alternate costumes in Smash Bros. 4, then maybe Pichu can be one for Pikachu. If they also, like, code it so that he changes his voice clips. Which wouldn't be that much work because, hell, they can only say Pikachu, Pikachu, and Pichu, Pichu, so wouldn't be that much work to code that, I think. But yeah, that's definitely the only way Pichu is ever going to get back into a Smash Bros. Game. Same thing goes for Dr. Mario. He was in Melee, don't see how he can be a different character anymore. Hell, pretty much the only thing that differentiated him from Mario was that he was throwing pills instead of fireballs. So yeah, just make him an alternate costume of Mario and call it a day. He is not deserving of playable character status. Young Link, the Link clone before there was Toon Link. He was kind of put in because into Melee because Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask were still pretty recent, I guess, and that was before all the cel-shaded Zelda games. But yeah, he's just another Link clone. I don't see why he should return. But I do think that there is the potential to turn him into a unique character if they, like, make him a transforming character with all the masks he wore in Majora's Mask. I never played that game, but I've read, like, movesets for Young Link and Smash Bros. 4 on GameFAQs and stuff, and he was, like, turning into Zora Link and Dooku Link and Goron Link and Fierce Deity Link or something. I think that would make for a pretty interesting Smash Bros. Character. But I'm still not sure that makes Young Link deserving of returning for Smash Bros. 4. And then there's Roy, that Fire Emblem character that was in Melee before his own game was even released. And that game never even made it outside of Japan either. So, yeah, pretty much the only reason people even know him is because he was in Melee. He is not really deserving of playable character status. I know he appears in Fire Emblem Awakening as like a non-canon DLC character, with a new design that's pretty fancy, but still I don't think he should return. There are many more deserving Fire Emblem characters than Roy. And then there's Mewtwo, everyone's favorite legendary Pokemon from back in the day. Unlike all the other previous Melee characters that I mentioned and talked about, I can actually totally see Mewtwo returning for Smash Bros. 4. Why? Well, this is why. Mewtwo is relevant again. In Pokemon X and Y, he's going to get a new form. It's rumored that he's going to get another new form. And he's going to be in a movie again. Mewtwo is back on his feet. I actually wouldn't rule it out that Mewtwo is just going to kick Lucario out of his spot on the roster and just come back. Actually, I really want to see that happen because I really like playing as Mewtwo in Melee, and I was kinda pissed off that they cut him out of Brawl. But I can totally see Mewtwo returning now, just everything seems right for it. How they could make him a transforming character like Zelda and Samus. Just have him swap between his regular form and whatever the hell this thing is supposed to be. I'm not really that pleased with this design. I think it's kind of bad. It doesn't really look like regular Mewtwo that much, but it makes him relevant again. So, hell, maybe Mewtwo will live again in the Smash Bros. Games. I certainly wouldn't mind. Now, of course, there's also newcomers to talk about. I think Bowser Jr. would be one of the most likely additions to Smash Bros. 4. He's been in so many Mario games as of late as pretty much the secondary villain, and I think he has some pretty good potential. Especially if they decide to include his transformation into Shadow Mario, even though that was only in Super Mario Sunshine. But still, it would certainly give him a whole lot of moveset potential, I think. Also, probably one of his most notable appearances. Also, Waluigi. Yes, you can hate him. Sure, he only shows up for sports games and party games and all that stuff. But he can pull a moveset from those, I suppose, and I guess he still is a fairly important character. I guess. Paper Mario. No, he wouldn't be a Mario clone. He can pull all sorts of crap from the Paper Mario games to form a moveset, like he uses hammers, Mario doesn't. I think he can do a whole bunch of other crap. Maybe he can use some of the partners from the Paper Mario games. I don't know. I haven't played any of them. But there's surely enough potential to make a decent moveset for this guy. Pretty sure there is. Next up, King K. Rool. Smash Bros. Games need more villains. I mean, Brawl had, what, Bowser, Wario, I guess Meta Knight and King DDD, if you consider those villains. Any others? Wolf, if, again, you consider him a villain. So they could use another, like, good, pure villain like King K. Rool, even though he hasn't showed up in any games for a couple of years. I guess he's still fairly relevant. Now for Star Fox, Crystal. mentioned it earlier when I was talking about Wolf, but there's plenty of moveset potential with like the staff from Star Fox Adventures. Even though Fox did most of the stuff that the staff did, I'm pretty sure Crystal could still do it as well. Or maybe like add in some guns from Star Fox Assault or something, I don't know. There's plenty of potential. Also potential for alternate costumes with that fur bikini thing. Oh yeah, Crom from Fire Emblem Awakening, the new Fire Emblem protagonist. Probably gonna end up replacing Ike. Yes, he does kind of look like Marth, I agree. And yes, his sword isn't as big as Ike, so maybe he'll be another faster character like Marth. But I don't know, maybe they can do something with him. Certainly wouldn't mind having him in this game. Little Mac from Punch-Out! Again, one of the most likely characters, I think. Punch-Out was a pretty damn cool game, and it got, like, a new game after Brawl came out, so it is a little more relevant. But the Wii Punch-Out game was pretty damn good, and really fun to play. So I certainly would not mind having Little Mac in Super Smash Bros. 4. Some more close combat characters never hurt. A character I'm pretty unfamiliar with, but people have been naming on GameFAQs for as a likely character, Shulk from Xenoblade, one of the last good games on the Wii. I'm not sure if it's like first party or not, or exactly, but I guess it wouldn't mind. I mean, the design's pretty cool. I could see this guy fitting in Smash Brothers. I'm not sure what he can do, but still. Oh shit, that's a horrible picture. Should have found a better one. But yeah, Bayonetta. Bayonetta is a third-party character, but Bayonetta 2 is only coming out for Wii U because Nintendo is helping with development or something, or publishing it. So I guess that technically makes Bayonetta a candidate. Pretty good moveset potential too. And if not Bayonetta, maybe a character from one of Platinum Games' other Wii U titles, The Wonderful 101. I'm not exactly sure what these guys do, or if this guy is even like the most important one. But still, any character from that game would do, I guess. I haven't really looked into it that much, but it seems to be a pretty good game. And lastly, of course, the Monster Hunter. Arguably the biggest game on the Wii U right now. Gotta count for something, right? There's plenty of moveset potential. Give him like Cha-Cha as like a helper character or something. Or maybe just have Cha-Cha as the playable character. That'd be pretty awesome. But yeah, there we go. That's what I want to see for Smash Bros. 4.